Hello, everyone, and welcome back into another episode of the Three View. Today, we are joined by Bozeman Icedogs head coach Mike Perkins. How's it going today?
Great, Britt. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Staying busy in the
Congrats
off
on the new
season.
gig.
Oh, thank you. How's your off season been?
Oh, great. Yeah. Lots of work, just like everybody else. Summer's, it's a long summer kind of waiting for players to make their decisions on what they're going to do, and lots of options in the game of hockey today. So we're not unlike anybody else, and we're waiting to see where players land and if they go to college or if they decide to come back to junior. So we're kind of in a holding pattern right now.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's kind of jump into last season. So you guys finished third overall in the Frontier division. In the year before, you guys had not qualified for playoffs, but then obviously being in third last year, you did. Kind of break down last season and what it was like to, make the playoffs.
Yeah, we had a good core of guys come back, and we had a good recruiting season, off season last year. So it really kind of helped our early stages of the season. We had a lot of players that were ready to step in and make an impact, and it was a good start for us. In fact, I think we jumped out on we started the season with a 7 game win streak, and then
Mhm.
we kind of went into a little bit of a lull, and we came back, and then kind of the great news is that we finished the season off with 8 game win streak run through the end of January and into February that really kind of catapulted us into third place and into a playoff spot. And that was with losing 3 players to season-ending injuries. In fact, our top two leading scorers, uh, Spencer Wilkinson and Chris Porshunkula, both went down with season-ending injuries. And then one of our goaltenders, Sean Smur, who is pretty reliable through the course of the season,
Mhm.
who's eligible to return this year, but still dealing with an injury. But we lost him for the season as well. So to finish on a 8 game win streak, and we had a couple little wins and losses through the end of it, but
Mhm.
through the end of January and into February, we had an 8 game win streak.
And what do you think is your biggest takeaway from that season that you guys can translate over to this upcoming year?
I mean, I think as with any junior level, you know, you have to kind of balance development and growth and younger players who are going to develop to higher levels to having older players that have experience and
Mhm.
finding that good even mix of younger players and older players. And we're going to continue to try to create that same model as we did last year. And we have in my 3 seasons here in Bozeman and going on our fourth. But that's been really kind of our game plan with building teams is trying to find a good mix of older players and younger players.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, speaking on older players, you have 6 players that are moving on to college. And I know off screen you said you have a few more in the works here. And then you guys had 2 players being selected in the NAHL draft. Talk about what it means to you and your organization to be able to help these players achieve their goals and moving on to the next level.
Yeah, we're by the time it's all said and done, we're probably going to move 10 to 12 players on to college hockey,
Awesome.
which is awesome. It's what we're supposed to do. I mean, this level of hockey is about development. We're trying to get players to play and ready to play college hockey
Mhm.
and beyond, hopefully for some of them. And of course, having both players, Spencer Wilkinson and Mason Zarnecki, drafted in the NA is huge for us. We're very proud of our guys and what we accomplished last year to and all those players that are moving on to college and then the 2 players drafted, they were big parts of the reason why we ended up winning 30 games last year. So, yeah, from an organizational standpoint, um, I think at this level of hockey, it's about development
Mhm.
and yeah, of course we want to win and we want to compete, but really the biggest goal for us is to move players on.
Yeah, absolutely. And then as we look forward to this season with those players moving on, what kind of players are you looking to bring in as we head into your main camp?
Yeah, like I said, like we had talked before we got on here, is that we're in a bit of a holding pattern and kind of waiting for some of the NA teams to make some of their decisions and And then once they kind of make their decisions, then, potentially we would have some players that would either stay there or come back to us. And then maybe there's some other players that, with some teams that we do work with that might be looking for places to put players for the course of the season. But yeah, we're excited about main camp here in a couple of weeks. We'll probably have 50, 60 players here in Bozeman. And then we'll kick off our season the Monday after. So 16th, 17th, and 18th will be main camp, and then we'll start things on the 19th with a bunch of team building and off ice stuff, and then hit the ice on the 26th. And then we don't play a regular season game until the 13th or 14th of September. We have a home and home with Great Falls. So that's, we'll have a little bit of time to really kind of get to know each other and get prepared to play a league game.
Yeah, absolutely. And then for someone who's unfamiliar with the Bozeman Icedogs organization, what would you tell them, going in as a player who's potentially looking to join your team?
I mean, I think, obviously there's a lot of great towns and across the NA3HL, but Bozeman has got to be right up there with one of the tops. It's there's so many different facets to the community here. It's a college town, it's a vacation town, it's a ski town, it's a mountain town, and it's still a small town in a lot of ways as well. So I think players that do come to Bozeman, they really enjoy it. They love it. The people here are very active, very outdoorsy. In fact, I was chuckling. I was telling somebody last week that maybe it was a year or two ago. I was driving to work about 6:30 in the morning, and it was about 10 degrees, and I saw at least 20 to 30 people out jogging.
Wow.
So the community is super active in a lot of things that go on here. Of course, having Montana State University here is a big part of what the fabric of Bozeman is. But it has a lot of different facets to it, and the players that come here love it. And quite frankly, there's, junior hockey's been in Bozeman since 1996, 97. There's a lot of players over the course of that time that have stayed in Bozeman and made Bozeman their home, whether it was they went on to college and decided to come back, or they didn't continue hockey and they decided to stay. Just a lot of hockey people here in the community, and a lot of them have had experiences with the Bozeman Icedogs.
And like you said earlier, you guys will kick off the season September 30th against Great Falls. How excited is the community to have the Icedogs back in town?
Yeah, we're when I first took over, we were coming out of COVID, and there was a lot of changes, to the hockey culture here in Bozeman. So, we've been busy in the last 3 years rebuilding the brand and rebuilding our fan base, and we have a good small group of fans that we're building upon, and those fans are super excited to get things going, and of course they'll be out in full force at our main camp, and we have our All-Star game that will be on Sunday the 18th, that a lot of the fans will come out and watch and get a preview of what the team may look like, and some of the players that are going to be key components to what we are over the course of the season. So as far as the community goes, we're one part of a lot of things that go on here in Bozeman, and deep in the month of January and February, when it's cold and people are looking for things to do, we're definitely on the slate for people to come watch hockey games.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing what you guys do this season.
Thanks, Britt. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.